Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on another interesting video on my series on stories from the Puranas. And so today we'll be talking about a very interesting story from the Puranas. Actually, it's not a story, it's about a dialogue between a king and sage Vyasa. And this dialogue is about worship of virgins, and the king's name is Janamajaya. And of course we know that the great sage Vyasa is a compiler of the 18 Mahapuranas, and this dialogue will explain about the benefits of the worshipping of virgins during Navratris, or the 9 nights of the great goddess. And how he has explained it is, he has mentioned that a virgin who is 1 year of age is not to be worshipped. A virgin who is 2 years of age is named as Kumari. A virgin who is 3 years of age is named as Trimurti. A virgin who is 4 years of age is called Kalyani. A virgin who is 5 years of age is called Rohini. A virgin who is 6 years of age is called Kalika. A virgin who is 7 years of age is called Chandika. A virgin who is 8 years of age is called Sambhavi. A virgin who is 9 years of age is called Durga. And of course Durga, as we know, is also the name of the supreme goddess, one of the names of the supreme goddess. And a virgin who's 10 years of age is called Subhadra. So what has been explained by this great sage Vyasa here is that there are rituals of worshipping these 9 goddesses, or 9 virgins rather, who are representative as goddesses themselves, starting from 2 years of age until 10 years of age. And what are the benefits it brings to the worshipper? So there are different rules, and there are different rituals to worship these goddesses, and this video does not have the scope of discussing all of them in detail because there's a time constraints. But I'm going to get into what sage Vyasa had mentioned are benefits of worshipping these 9 virgins, again, who are representative of the 9 goddesses. So the worship, and we know that we don't worship a virgin who's 1 year of age. So the virgin who's 2 years and who's named Kumari, and if you do a worship of Kumari, it leads to the destruction of all kinds of miseries and poverty, and also takes care of one's enemies and increases riches, longevity, and power. A virgin who's 3 years of age, who's called Trimurti, the worship of Trimurti leads to longevity and acquisition of dharma, wealth, and desires, in terms of all kinds of desires, including all kinds of riches, increase in family, so on and so forth. Worship of the virgin who is 4 years of age and who is called Kalyani as per the ancient Puranas. All this is coming from Puranas, so I'll request you to have firm faith and belief in it. This is not fiction. So the virgin who is 4 years of age and who's called Kalyani, the worship of her will lead to victory, getting of kingdoms, and happiness. And of course we know that there are no kingdoms in today's day and age, but any kinds of acquisition of wealth and riches and kingdom-like riches or power, they should be worshipping Kalyani, who's 4 years of age and who's a virgin 4 years of age. And a virgin who's 5 years of age, who's called Rohini, and whose worship is done to the cure of all kinds of diseases. So very important here, which is coming again from the Puranas. So people who are, having diseases and all kinds of problems, one way of getting rid of diseases is to worship a 5-year-old virgin during Navratris, or the 9 nights of the Supreme Goddess. And the virgin, as we know, is called Rohini. And once again, people who want to worship, they can refer to Vedic scholars who have been doing that for generations, and who know the right rituals to do that. Don't try it yourself. A virgin who is 6 years of age is called Kalika, as I mentioned, and the worship of Kalika is done for the destruction of one's enemies. So if you're tormented too much by enemies, that's one way of taking care of your enemies. Chandika is a 7-year-old virgin, and if you worship Chandika as per what is mentioned in the Puranas, it is for getting all kinds of prosperities and all kinds of riches. And once again, the 8-year-old virgin, who is called Sambhavi, is worshipped for overpowering one's enemies. So earlier we saw that worship of Kalika is for the destruction of one's enemies, and also here the 8-year-old virgin, who is called Sambhavi, is also for destructions of one's enemies, and also for removal of all kinds of miseries and poverty as well. So that is the benefit of worshipping the 8-year-old virgin, who's Sambhavi. Now the 9-year-old virgin, who's called Durga, is worshipped if you're tormented by very, very strong and awfully strong and terrible enemies. That's the ultimate, of course. Other goddesses or other virgins are worshipped as well, but here the 9-year-old virgin, who's called Durga, and if you worship Durga, you can get rid of terrible enemies, and also for happiness in the next world when you pass over after your death to the next world. So that's for the 9-year-old virgin, who's called Durga. And then the final worship is for the 10-year-old virgin, who's called Subhadra. That worship is done for the fulfillment of all your desires. So these are the benefits which has been explained by the great sage Vyasa, the compiler of the 18 Mahapuranas, as mentioned, between a dialogue between the king and himself, as to a part of the ritual. And the rituals are very exhaustive. This is just one part of the ritual during the 9 nights of the Navratris of the Supreme Goddess. And what are the benefits of doing these worship and reaping the benefits. So hopefully you enjoyed this little story. Again, it's not a story, it's a dialogue coming directly from the Puranas, and it can be used as a remedial measure also in case you want to take care of all kinds of problems which are occurring in your life. And in the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic on stories from the Puranas very soon. Goodbye.